This is the Garden of English. I'm Tim Freitas, and today we're going to talk about how we can start with pre-assessments in our literature classroom and have them not be as intimidating as pre-assessments can actually be. So stick around and check it out. Okay, so a couple days ago, I actually recorded a video about how to start your AP Lang year, and I recorded that video with my friend Rob Bowman, and he actually had a great activity that would work for AP Lit or AP Lang. So if you want to check that out, you can actually check out the link, and I think you can find that video right up here. Okay, but my activity in there is actually better suited for AP Lang. So today what I wanted to do is I wanted to actually offer a similar activity where you could offer pre-assessment for your students that would help lower their affective filter. So you can actually figure out where they come in at, and also you can allow them to be a little bit more comfortable with the content that you're asking them to begin manipulating. On top of that, if you do this really well, you can actually show kids incredible amounts of growth just over 2 or 3 days of class, and that's one of the best ways to actually build a classroom culture is because they will trust you because they will see their growth just over a couple of days. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shrink myself up here, and we're going to actually check out how this assignment looks. So let's actually do so. Let's shrink up. We'll just go right down here. Okay. Please note that as I'm shrinking myself up, this assignment will actually be linked to a PowerPoint that is in the description right down below, so you will have access to that. We'll actually move myself here for just a minute because this is an activity for pre-assessment that lowers the affective filter for your students. So we're going to click over here. You're going to notice that I have some prompts here. And these prompts that are here are actually scaffolded. And the reason why they're scaffolded is so that you can actually figure out, or adjust where you think your kids are coming in at. If you know that your district has a strong vertical team, it makes sense to use this top prompt up here. If you think that there is a vertical team, but it could be stronger, I would strongly advise that you use the middle prompt. And then if your kids are coming in from eclectic English experiences, to put it mildly, you might want to consider using this lower prompt. Now, we're going to go over the differences of the prompt in just a moment, but the truth is that what we're asking the students to do is exactly the same in terms of the skill that they're trying to show that they either have or don't have, but the way that the prompt is worded actually makes the prompt easier as you move down, or not easier, more accessible, because it will give kids a little bit more to actually manipulate what they have to do. So anyway, if we look at the top one, it reads, in How Bad Can I Be, Chris Renaud, the director of the Universal hit movie The Lorax, considers how business affects the world around it. Listen to the song carefully and read the provided lyrics. Then write a well-developed composition in which you analyze how Renaud uses literary techniques to explore the complex relationship between humanity and its surroundings. And this right here is worded exactly like an AP Lit prompt. If you wanted to use this for a poetry unit instead of the beginning of the year, all you would have to do is change out literary techniques to poetic techniques, and it would be fine. But really what the kids have to answer is, what is the complex relationship between humanity and its surroundings? That's what they're really looking for, and they're trying to tie that to literary techniques. So we would be assuming that kids would know what literary techniques are, and that they would be able to in some way judge what complexity looks like. Not every student is there as they head into their AP Lit year, or whatever Lit year that you would actually want to do this for. So that's why we have prompt number 2. Now, I'm not going to reread the whole prompt, but I want to just look at what the kids are commanded to do and just highlight how it changes. In the second prompt, if you look right here, it says, let's go back a screen, my bad. Okay, it says, explain how Renaud uses literary techniques to explore how humanity's desire for personal wealth negatively affects personal relationships and the natural world. Now, what's important about this one is that this starts to bring out the complexity of what's going on here. You're going to notice that the word literary techniques is still there, so we're going to assume that kids know what that means, but it starts bringing out the complexity that greed actually doesn't just influence our environment, our natural environment, it also negatively affects our relationships with others, okay? And that's where the complexity starts to become a little bit layered. So we give a little bit more to the kids there, but we still ask them to bring the literary techniques to the table. And then if you go to the last one here, the change you'll see is that it starts with the word discuss. I should have underlined that and I didn't. I'll change that for when you can click on it in the link down below. But it says discuss how the video and lyrics show that humanity's desire for personal wealth negatively affects personal relationships in the the natural world. And notice that this one here, it just says discuss how. So we move from analyze to explain to discuss. And you'll also notice that in this last one, we took out the word literary techniques because that might actually be a gatekeeper. That might intimidate kids. But if we just say discuss how the video and lyrics show this, kids will be able to have a much more open field in trying to figure out what they want to talk about. So we're trying to get kids comfortable. We're trying to see as teachers what they can actually do, okay? And then on top of that, we're going to actually let them try this. Then we'll show the video again as a class, and then we'll talk about it together. But I'm going to go to the video right here, and you're going to notice that this slide, right, is about, oh, there we go, let's go back, is how bad can I be? It's linked right to the YouTube video for it, and you can actually take a moment right now and just pause and play that video. So open up the link down at the bottom that has these slides in it and just play the video so you can actually check that out. And then, so pause it here. All right, I'm going to assume that you paused the video and that you actually checked that out. Now, what are you going to do with that? Well, you're going to watch that with the kids. You're going to give them the lyrics that you can find, like I said, you can print them out from right up here. And then you're going to give them one of those prompts, okay? And then what you're going to do is you're going to collect that. It's most likely going to be the end of the first day or the end of the second day. And what you can do next is you're going to come back the next day and you're going to rewatch this video. And then you're going to talk it out with the kids. What did you see? Tell me about those things that you saw. Tell me about what you thought the director did in that song. And then what you'll want to talk about there is all of the ways that the images themselves and the colors and the changes and the shifts and the contrast that the Onceler, that's the name of our main character, go through actually convey the complexity of how greed and materialism pushes, people away, how it breaks relationships, and how it essentially, has the potential to even destroy the environment. And so now think about this. You're talking about a children's movie, but you're using this really, quick and easy video to look at things that are very, very prevalent to the beginning of the course and exam description. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually bring that up right now, and we'll move myself right up here, okay? And I want you to just look at what it says for Unit 1. It says, if we look at the skills that we want kids to have, it says identify and describe specific textual details. What specific textual details reveal about a character and that character's perspectives and that character's motives. If you can't use this video to talk about that in your classroom, well, it's impossible. You can, right? And we're just using a quick video to kind of get this conversation started. And it then says identify and describe specific textual details that convey or reveal a setting. Well, the setting itself reveals a lot about the character and the shifts in the setting, right? We have identify and describe how plot orders events in the narrative. And we could talk about the plot line that shows up as we see the degradation of both the relationships and the environment throughout that video. It says explain the function of a particular sequence of events in the plot. And then you can look at the different scenes that show up and say, okay, how does this scene function here? We have identify and describe the narrator or speaker of the text. We can already see the singer, and the characterization before relates directly to the speaker. So you're going to notice that Unit 1 skills are found all throughout this video, and you can have a beautiful conversation about every single one of these after the kids have kind of watched the video, shown you what they can do. Come back and talk about these things with them the very next day. Talk about it as a class. You can do this on Zoom or remotely as well, and have kids just answer quick questions, right? You could turn these skills into little questions and have them type out those answers if you're not actually interacting with them in person on a Zoom call or a Google Hangout or anything like that. But the point is that you're going to notice that all of these skills are remarkably easy to work with this particular video. So after you discuss this with the kids and say, oh my word, why is it all of a sudden that his suit is green as he's making money? Things like that. What does that say about his character? After you have that full discussion, give the kids 15 more minutes and ask them to revise their initial response. And then over a span of 2 or 3 days, ask them to read their first response and then read their second after discussing it. And they're already going to see growth, and they're going to be encouraged, and they're going to get 100s for both responses. And when you tell them, look, I wanted you to see your growth, they're going to trust you all the more. Interestingly enough, though, this video could also work very well for Unit 2, so you don't have to just start your year here. You might be like, no, I want to start my year a different way. You could actually use this for Unit 2. Look at what it says here in Unit 2 for Skill 3D. It says, explain the function of contrast within a text. One of the ways that I like to use this video in my classroom when I teach poetry is I make the kids watch it without the lyrics and without the music. They just have to watch for all of the visuals, and I make them pick out all of the contrasts in the video itself. And when that happens, at the very end, I say, good, tell me what this is about. You need to write, okay? Renaud develops How Bad Can I Be in his movie The Lorax in order to illustrate, and they have to finish that sentence. And once they finish that sentence with some sort of thematic statement, I'm like, good, what contrasts of images did you see that help you get to that understanding? And now they're looking at how contrast creates what we would call theme or universal insight. And at that point, we then talk about, okay, well, we're going to tie this to poetry, and I use that to lead into poetry. But I also do that with the lyrics as well. So how do the lyrics shift, and how do the lyrics contrast? And because I want kids to focus on the contrast and the shift, because I always tell them shift happens, or good authors give a shift, that kind of a thing. So anyway, this is just a quick activity that will take 1 to 3 days, depending on how much time you have with your students. That's fun for them. It really lowers the affective filter. It gets them 2 free 100s, 10 out of 10 points every time. It shows their growth, and it's pretty engaging because it's Dr. Seuss. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to maximize my screen here again. So let me just bring myself up if I can. And please note that, like I said at the beginning of this video, there is another video that I made with my friend Rob that has a sentence beauty pageant activity. I encourage you to check out that video. But please also, if this video was helpful and you liked it, please by all means just click like and subscribe. That's the easiest way that you can help the garden grow. You can follow us on Instagram. You can access us on Facebook. And we are going to actually have a new website put together soon. But you can actually access our website with free resources down below as well. And then, of course, we've got merch. And as I always say, these videos are also free. So if you just want to watch it, take the idea and move on, that's fine too. But as always, we thank you here at the Garden of English. Have a great night.